But when we say that the Democratic Party is dead, I mean it's dead, like really dead, like buried and dead. And you know why? Because Emerson just released a presidential poll for 2028. And who's their top candidate? That the Democrats want to. I'm talking about the Democrats who want to still support this party. And who do they think is the best person that they could possibly have as their nominee in 2028? Well, I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to show you. Because
oh no, who am I? Wait. I need to prepare. Who am I being subjected to?
Oh,
I don't know that I have enough weed. Hold on.
Do you have any mayo?
No, not
half
him.
of Senate Democrats just voted to oppose the sale of over $500 million worth of U.S. bombs and guns to Israel. Would you have voted to oppose sending those weapons?
I think we need to insist that if American taxpayer funding is going to weaponry that is going to Israel, that is not going to things that shock the conscience. And look, we see images every day that shock the conscience.
Really? He didn't have a problem with babies not having formula in this country. He didn't have a problem with that. In fact, when he was questioned about what he was going to do about that as the Secretary of Transportation, when there was a serious supply chain problem and formula was not being available for many, many people, he had a very let them drink water answer of, well, we are a capitalist country. Yeah.
Well, we're capitalists, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Don't think it's not lost on me, and it shouldn't be lost on anybody, that there is the word crooked right over the left ear of Buttigieg. The best
what
answer,
are you saying? There's what over his what?
Look over his head.
Right. Oh, the flag?
No. Do you see the word?
Crooked. Well, what show is this that we're watching?
Crooked,
I thought you were talking in his
media.
room. I didn't think you meant the label of the.
No, I mean, it's crooked
video.
media, but just the fact that you have that over his head.
Well, he is crooked. He is. I cannot. Actually, anybody who has not watched a lot of the stuff that Jordan Sheraton at Status Quo has put out talking about Pete, because Jordan actually spent some time in South Bend and spoke to some folks and has some information about the kind of mayor that he was. But again,
he was a dreadfully bad mayor.
And most people would never know that because most people are not aware of the ongoings of South Bend, Indiana. So why would you know that? So I would encourage people, before really having an opinion about someone that has been polished up a la the Clinton Foundation, to look, like this, as to how he actually did run things as a chief executive, as the mayor. Horribly.
Yeah, horribly. And on top of everything else, this is a guy who at most got 8,000 votes in his political career and somehow became a front runner for president of the United States. No.
I reject him entirely.
Correct. Well, not exactly, but.
What do you mean? I completely reject him.
No, I reject him. I'm saying that the Democratic sycophants clearly are still.
They love him.
Yeah.
They love him. I know people that are my kind of people, and they just don't know, because for the most part, he doesn't get that much press. It's not like he's that, there hasn't been something that's been so big since that he was sitting in that position under that timeline.
Well, keep in mind that in many cases, the reason why he isn't being talked about in the capacity that he should be talked about is because he is a very extremely rehearsed and measured representative. Well, he's not even a representative. I mean, what is he?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What is he? I don't know what his job is. He's not the Secretary of Transportation.
Yeah, well, he's just a Dem in training, I guess you'd say, or whatever.
He's the Manchurian candidate, is what he is. He's.
So much of this is complicated, but what's not complicated is that if a child is starving because of a choice made by a government, that is unconscionable.
Okay, so can we superimpose this over him justifying it in this country and have those back to back? Like, I would be a really good person to do oppo, like branding for people, like good opposition, take good things, and because that would be great. Because he's literally saying the exact opposite of what he said regarding children, infants in this country not getting formula.
I just figured out why so many of the shit libs like this guy, because he is cut directly from, he's like central casting from the West Wing. Like he would fit perfectly on that show. That's exactly why they like him. He's
you know what? He's got a very clean cut image. He's gay. He checks that box. He's got the husband, he's got the kids, whatever. Like they think he's just so appealing to the suburban liberals. And he is.
Yeah,
he is. The more you hear him and you see him, it'll be a very similar problem to Kamala, because he is such an elitist.
Not only is he elitist,
that's what oozes. The more he speaks, the more regular people hear him speak. He just comes off like such an elitist piece of shit.
Well, not only that, but he has no depth. None. There is nothing under the hood of that car. He is such an empty vessel of the worst kind. Again, this guy is central casting test tube politician from McKinsey. Yeah. That's who he is. And the problem is that the more the working class and the progressives leave the party, which they're doing, the more it just becomes a shit lib minority party that is going to put somebody like him forward, because they're so disconnected from reality about the way the world is versus the way they envision it to be. Hence why he looks like he's made perfectly for the West Wing, and why they're supporting him. Again, Emerson, this isn't some shit poll. This is a real presidential poll that they did.
They like him, but who are they polling? But again, who are they polling?
Well, I guess anybody that was willing to respond. The Democratic voters.
Democrats, so registered Democratic voters, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we should collectively know that's a very small group of people.
However
it really is.
However small it is, the party is still rigged because they rigged their primaries. They still have superdelegates. They still do what they're going to do. And remember, when the Democrats rig their primaries, when it becomes a candidate that doesn't play ball with the establishment. Now, they don't really care one way or the other if it's Newsom, if it's Pritzker, if it's Kamala, if it's even if it is Gretchen Whitmer, and of course, if it's Pete Buttigieg, to them, they're 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Those type of candidates, the shit libs can pick from, and they'll put whichever one up to actually become the nominee. Doesn't mean they're going to win, but in terms of the nominee, if you guys think that the Democratic establishment would not nominate Pete Buttigieg as their candidate, you really are asleep at the wheel.
Oh, of course they will. They've been bringing him up.
Would nominate him. They wouldn't hesitate for a second.
Why would you think that anybody would think they would hesitate? They've been pumping up him and Kamala. They're like the same little Manchurian class of candidates. The Clintons threw their money behind both of those horses. And, Kamala seemed to, they thought, well, we definitely need to put in a woman as vice president. So that sort of led that direction. But they were invested in him, too. He's their other little show pony.
He is 100%.
I think, especially including voices who care about Israel, who believe in Israel's right to exist, who have stood with Israel in response to the unbelievable cruelty and terrorism of October 7th. I think there's a reason why so many of those voices are speaking up now, too, because this is not just something that is on its face and in itself a moral catastrophe. It is also a catastrophe for Israel for the long run.
How do you think?
You know what I think? I think you suck. Pete Guaido. That's a great nickname, Matt Stu.
Pete Guaido. It actually, it's a good likeness too. It's the same thing.
Schultz is 100% right. It's like Center for American Progress. Hey,
exactly.
Put a gay guy up there. You think people would get excited about a gay guy? I just want health care.
Right. If he was supporting health care, I'd get excited about him.
Yeah. It's not even a question of I'm just tired of the box checking. I don't care. I don't care what a person looks like. I don't care what their sex is. I don't care what they do in their private life. I just care if they're bought and paid for by corporate special interests. And this guy is bought by every corporate special interest. This is the guy who tried to hoodwink an entire country by saying Medicare for all who want it.
Right.
as if our country was not broken enough. You're trying to sell that bullshit.
That's just the public option.
Yeah. And on top of everything else, the guy, no pun intended, will slurp Israel to the highest, to their heart's content, no matter what. Even in the face of all this, the way that he's trying to splice it and make it seem like he genuinely cares about anything other than his career is almost an impossibility. He's trying, but he's failing miserably.
The next administration should handle our relationship with Israel. Do you think it should change based on what Netanyahu has done the last several years?
Well, certainly Netanyahu can't be the only voice or the only compass for what should happen in the U.S.-Israel relationship. And, no matter how strongly, or especially because of how strongly you might believe in Israel's right to exist and defend itself, you don't have to make excuses for the choices that Netanyahu is making, especially because they are often made not only in the name of the Israeli people, but in the name of a U.S. alliance. I think that we, as Israel's strongest ally and friend, you put your arm around your friend when there's something like this going on and talk about what we're prepared to do together.
You think he memorized that line?
I don't know. Who writes your shit, Pete? Who writes for you? Petey? This is, I think, when I truly fell in love with Colonel Wilkerson, was when he kept referring to him as little Petey.
Again, this is a person who is doing everything he can in his mind to say, is this going to offend this donor? Is this going to offend that donor? I don't want to offend anybody because I have a career ahead of me. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, the Democratic establishment, with their relationship with McKinsey, he was clearly scouted. And when he was interviewed, they basically told him, we have a job for you.
We have a job for you.
Here's your job. We are going to have you run as a more youthful, exuberant, progressive candidate to steal as many votes and support away from Bernie Sanders as you possibly can. And in the end, you will do as we ask of you to ensure that we defeat Bernie Sanders. That's our top priority. And if you do this, you're going to have one hell of a career ahead of you, young man. And when you're somebody like Buttigieg, you jump at that opportunity. And that's what they gave him. And that's why a guy like this, who makes no sense whatsoever, I mean, a politician, he is a generations plus removed from when a voice like this had any relevance whatsoever.
Oh, yeah, no, the 90s called and they want their politics back with him. But the problem that he has, I think, as ever being able to really win is he's just not really warm and likable once you get past, oh, he's nice and well-kept, but that's as far as it goes. He's a word salad like Kamala. Nothing he says has any substance. He changes what he says all the friggin' time. And yet he is nowhere near as smooth as someone like Obama.
Correct.
So he's only going to get so far.
But
right. So he's word salad with no sense of smooth or cool or grace whatsoever. He could be one of the most uncool people like ever.
And that's also the thing that people will still forget about Obama and about Clinton, is that they had real personality. They may be sociopaths, especially Bill Clinton, but make no mistake that they know how to talk the talk and walk the walk. Pete knows how to talk the talk, but he can't walk the walk because he's
just not smooth. Look, Obama, and again, not a fan. I have a lot of problems. I have a lot of issues with that man. But
now,
nobody, I have never seen anybody as cool under pressure and collected as Obama. That is one smooth man. Pete can't eat. He is just nowhere in the category of being anywhere cool in that vicinity.
But as we said, the Democratic establishment, it has not changed. They're not going to change. And if you need further proof, this man, as of this moment, is considered the top contender to be the Democratic Party nominee in 2028. Unbelievable.
And what does that tell you? It tells
and-
me that I am correct as far as they're
party's
going
dead.
nowhere.
They're going nowhere. That's right.
It cannot be, certainly cannot be what we see right now from this administration and this president talking about beachfront property in Gaza before he's prepared to talk about human suffering in Gaza.
Do you think it's time to recognize a Palestinian state?
I think that's a profound question that
No, it isn't.
arouses a lot of the biggest problems that have happened with Israel's survival, or Israel's right to survival in the diplomatic
So
scene.
Israel has a right to survival, but Palestine doesn't have a right to state.
He can't even give a real answer.
No, because he's a word salad. And by the way, his body language screams of discomfort and insincerity. Everything he's doing while he's like crossing his arms, he's putting his arms, like he is, which is why he won't get very far. That's exactly why he won't get very far.
I don't know if I agree with you. I still think that the more that this party continues to die, the more that the levers of power will be pulled by those that are just completely politically opportunistic. Like,
well, what do you mean? Like, yes, no, they might stick him up in front. Oh, I'm not doubting that they'll put him up in front. What I'm saying is he's not going to get voted for by actual real people. He's not going to go anywhere.
No, the fact of the matter is, if it comes to just playing the political game and knowing what to expect, if you were to have somebody like Buttigieg as the nominee against somebody like J.D. Vance, it'll be 35 states all over again. Like, that's what's going to happen.
J.D. Vance, it'll be a blowout is what it'll be.
Especially if you've got J.D.
And I
Vance.
do not like J.D. Vance at all. Like, I don't like him, not even a little bit. I don't want him and his snake leader, Master Peter Thiel, being in reptile man, being in charge of anything. But he will wipe the floor with this man.
And can't argue that. God, again, it's not even what makes him, what makes people like him the worst is that he has zero conviction when it comes to the Israel-Palestine question. It means
he's so uncomfortable.
It means nothing to him. He's just trying to figure out in his mind, what can I say that will offend the least amount of my rich donors that I need to run for president? But
wait a second. He didn't say shit when Joe was sitting there, Genocide Joe. I didn't hear a word coming out of his mouth about the humanitarian problem. And the fact that they are making it be like all of a sudden this starvation thing, even if you wanted to say it really started in beginning of March, okay, that's still April, May, June. We're still 5 months past that. So, and that's even, but the reality is, and people like him, he knows damn well that there's no food been getting in there, that nothing's been getting in there, and not even, and we're talking before October 7th. He knows damn well. He just doesn't give a shit.
The people who have taken that step historically have done so for different reasons than what we see happening with European countries. I think we need to step back and we need to do whatever it takes to ensure that there is a real two-state solution and that no one, not even the likes of Netanyahu, can veto the international community's commitment to a two-state solution where you have Palestinians and Israelis living with safety, with security, with rights. I believe that can happen, but we have to actually show some commitment to it.
Yeah, not really. Two-state solution, still going with that bullshit.
Nobody believes you. Nobody believes you. That's the problem. Nobody believes them anymore.
Oh, how could they?
Not to mention, I love it when American politicians talk about a two-state solution and you could put it up next to Benjamin Netanyahu or Smotrich or Gavir or any of those psychopaths saying there will never be a Palestinian state. So why is it that our politicos are so that they're comfortable spouting their nonsense of a two-state solution when the rest of the world sees that that's never going to happen? There's going to be one state and it's not going to be a Zio-ethno state. That's what's going to happen.
Like I said, he's dragged from central casting. He went to the military. He was trained at McKinsey. He was a small town mayor who ran South Bend into the ground. And this guy got plucked out of obscurity and becomes one of the front runners for president of the United States. No one knew who the hell he was. And you're telling me that Bernie Sanders, who had already a 4-year track record as being the face of left populist politics, had competition with this guy? Guys, It's a rigged game. It's rigged.
Well, like the K-Hive, or you think his supporters or any of the Buttigieg? Yes, I know there's a bunch of like suburban wine moms that probably think he's just great.
Yeah, but you see, in their mind, one of their votes equals 1,000 votes of a lesser person, and that in their mind anyway. That's kind of how they look at it.
Yeah, well, I just don't think there's enough people that'll get far enough. And there certainly won't be the level of enthusiasm where it's needed. It's not going to be with young people. It's not going to be with college students. It's not going to be where they need real movement. They're never going to get that support. They'll have to pay people like they always do.
Well, they're also convinced that somehow, some way, this is all going to change. But it's not. That's what they're missing. What they're missing more than anything else is this idea that eventually things are going to settle down. Eventually people are going to move on. It'll be normal again. It's never going to be normal again, ever.
Ever.
Ever.